All right, so are you ready to dive into some seriously grim, dark stuff today?
Always.
We're tackling excerpts from Extinction by Aaron Dembski-Bowden, and well, let me tell you, it gets heavy fast.
Yeah, definitely a book that stays with you.
We're talking about the fall of the Sons of Horus, which is a huge turning point, I think, in Warhammer 40K lore. I mean, for those not familiar, the Sons of Horus were once the Emperor's top dogs, right? Like these superhuman warriors leading the charge. But during the Horus Heresy, basically a massive civil war, they sided with the traitor, War Master Horus, and, well, things went downhill from there.
You could say that.
Extinction picks up way after the heresy, and it shows us what's left of this once mighty legion. And what I find so fascinating is how Dembski-Bowden does this through these like intimate snapshots of individual Sons of Horus rather than some big epic battle.
Yeah, that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. I mean, we're
Yeah.
not just getting a history lesson. We're getting these visceral personal experiences of the Legion's demise.
Yeah.
It's like we're unearthing these lost recordings, these fragmented memories of defeat and despair.
Like these whispers from the past.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's start with Sergeant Kellen Garax. Now this guy is pinned down, leg impaled by wreckage, and his squad scattered and slaughtered all around him.
Brutal.
And to make matters worse, he's being attacked by the Night Lords, who were once allies, but now are, for various chaotic reasons, anything but.
You got to remember, betrayal is a huge theme in the Horus Heresy, right?
Hmm.
I mean, these legions were once brothers in arms, fighting side by side, and then everything just gets ripped apart.
Just shattered.
Yeah, so for Garrick's, this attack by the Night Lords,
Mm.
it isn't just a tactical problem. It's this deeply personal wound.
Yeah.
It speaks to this utter breakdown of trust,
Yeah.
the shattering of everything you once believed in.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of betrayal, it just has to mess you up. It's not just about the physical injuries, it's that gut punch of realizing your own side has turned on you.
Exactly. And what's striking is that despite this, Garrick still clings to the discipline of a son of Horus. Even as he's dying, he's trying to free himself from the wreckage, almost refusing to accept the reality of his situation.
Wow.
There's this certain tragic nobility in that, a refusal to give in to despair even when all hope is lost.
Makes you wonder, is he in denial? Or is it that ingrained warrior mindset? You know, the one that says never surrender no matter the odds.
It's probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
But it highlights the inner conflict these sons of Horus face, clinging to this code of honor even as the world they knew crumbles around them.
And it just keeps crumbling. From one hellscape to another, we shift gears to Savan Carol. Now he's a tech marine, basically a space marine engineer.
Yeah, like a super mechanic.
Exactly, and he's aboard a doomed ship called the Hevelius. What Dembski-Bowden does so well here is he creates this stark contrast. Garax is fighting for his life surrounded by carnage and Chiral. He's facing death with this almost cold mechanical precision.
Yes, and remember, tech marines have this unique relationship with technology, right? They see machines almost as extensions of themselves. So as the Hevelius is burning around him, Carol's not just trying to save a ship, he's trying to preserve a part of himself, his identity.
There's real stoicism to him. I mean, the bridge is literally on fire. The air is thick with smoke and heat. But he's methodically going through protocols, issuing orders, preparing the ship for its final plunge.
And that's where we see another facet of the Sons of Horus' downfall. It's not just about betrayal and defeat. It's about this adherence to duty, even when it becomes meaningless. Carol knows the ship is lost, but he stays at his post, carrying out his responsibilities until the very end.
It's a different kind of courage there, wouldn't you say? Not the raw fury of battle, but that quiet determination to do what needs to be done, even when you know it's all for nothing.
It really makes you think, what's going through his mind in those final moments? Is there a sense of peace, knowing he did his duty? Or is there a bitter awareness of the futility of it all?
It's heavy stuff. From the burning bridge of the Hevelius, we are thrown into another kind of fire, the fiery punishment of Captain Nevi Shardesh. And let me tell you, Dembski-Bowden does not hold back on the brutality.
Oh no, not at all.
Desh is whipped. He's missing an eye. His hearts are literally failing.
Oh.
And remember, he's not being tortured by an enemy, but by someone within his own legion.
That's cold.
This is where we start to see the real darkness at the heart of the Sons of Horus's fall. It's not just external forces that are tearing them apart. It's this rot from within, this willingness to inflict pain on their own brothers. And yet, even as he's being broken, he utters the words, For the War Master. Talk about twisted loyalty. It raises so many questions, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Who within the Sons of Horus would punish one of their own captains with such brutality?
Yeah.
And what does that tell us about the fractured state of the Legion, the lengths to which they've gone to maintain some semblance of unity?
It's like they're clinging to the past, to the image of Horus, even as it becomes this grotesque parody of what it once was.
Like a hollow shell.
Yeah. And it sets the stage for the even darker path some Sons of Horus will take in their search for power and meaning. Speaking of which, we're introduced to a character who embodies this descent into darkness, Zarian Sharak.
Oh, yeah, Sharak. Now he's a seeker of the warp.
Okay.
Hold on. For those not deeply entrenched in Warhammer 40K, what exactly is the warp?
Well, imagine this chaotic ocean of pure psychic energy, where thoughts and emotions take on a life of their own, morphing into these nightmarish creatures and warping reality itself.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, so that's the warp. And it's both a source of immense power and a gateway to unimaginable horrors.
So Sharak is dabbling in some seriously dangerous stuff.
You could say that again?
He's not just a warrior anymore. He's seeking something more, something beyond the physical realm.
Yes, and this is where we see this stark contrast to the stoicism of Ka'ral, right?
Right.
Both are seeking a kind of control. Ka'ral over his ship, Sharak over the powers of the warp. But while Ka'ral embodies duty and discipline, Sharak is driven by this desperate hunger for power, a hunger that will ultimately consume him.
Yeah, that description of the joining where he merges with the daemon, it's like watching someone willingly surrender to a parasite, knowing it will eventually devour them from the inside out.
And what makes it so terrifying is that he initially believes he's in control. He thinks he can harness the power of this demon without becoming its puppet. But the warp is insidious, and it preys on those weaknesses, those desires that lurk beneath the surface.
Makes you wonder, is Sharak an outlier? Or is he a symptom of a deeper sickness within the remnants of the Sons of Horus? A sign that they're willing to embrace any power, no matter how dangerous, to reclaim their lost glory?
That's a question that will continue to haunt us as we delve deeper into these excerpts. From the depths of the warp, we're brought back to the brutal reality of the battlefield with Captain Eric and Jurek. Jurek's story, I think, really highlights that resilience of the Sons of Horus, even in their shattered state.
Yeah, you really see it.
He's leading this desperate evacuation, fighting a rearguard action, buying time for his men to escape.
And it is a whole different kind of heroism compared to what we've seen so far. I mean, you've got Garak's trapped, Ka'ral accepting his fate, but Jurek,
Right.
he is pure action, grit, determination.
Yeah.
Dembski Bowden describes him dragging his wounded comrade Zoran towards the gunship, leaving this trail of blood and oil.
Oof.
It's a powerful image of the cost of loyalty, the lengths these warriors will go to for their brothers.
And you got to remember, his own jump pack has malfunctioned.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He could easily escape, but he chooses to stay behind, facing down an overwhelming force, all to give his men a chance at survival.
That moment when he yells, "Who's still on the ground?"
Oh, yeah.
It gives me chills. It speaks volumes about his character, that unwavering commitment to his men, even when all seems lost.
Yeah.
I mean, you really get the sense that Jurek embodies the best of what the Sons of Horus once were, these fierce warriors, loyal brothers, bound by a code of honor.
Makes you wonder, does that code of honor survive even in the face of chaos?
Yeah.
Is it something inherent to the Legion or just a fading memory of a lost past?
It's a good question. And it's not just any enemy he's facing, right?
Right.
It's the Thousand Sons, another traitor legion, but these guys, they're deep into sorcery and psychic powers.
Oh, yeah. Some scary stuff.
Plus, they have these creepy rubric marines, basically undead space marines with guns.
Yeah, the Thousand Sons led by the enigmatic sorcerer Kohutep. He's a fascinating figure, almost like a puppeteer, orchestrating the destruction of the Sons of Horus with this mixture of psychic power and cold calculation.
There's this unsettling scene where Kohutep is just standing there watching as the rubric advance.
Right.
He's a motionless, unstoppable killing machines. He's almost toying with Jurek, like a cat playing with a mouse.
Yeah, and then he utters that chilling line.
Oh, yeah.
This is how a legion dies.
That line always gets me. It's not just about the physical annihilation of the Sons of Horus. It's about the systematic dismantling of their spirit, their identity, their very reason for being.
It really is.
Like watching a dying animal, you know,
Oh, no.
struggling to breathe. Each gasp a reminder of its former power, now reduced to just a whimper.
It's tragic.
But here's the thing, right? Even in death, there's something majestic about a legion.
Absolutely. Think about the vengeful spirit,
Oh, wow.
the abandoned flagship of the Sons of Horus. This massive, once imposing vessel, now drifting silently in space.
Haunting.
It's a potent symbol of the Legion's fall from grace, a ghost of former glory.
The way Dembski-Bowden describes it, it's almost like the ship itself is a character, mourning the loss of its crew, yearning for the days of battle.
Yeah, and that final order, shut her down,
Oh, man.
echoes through the emptiness,
Yeah.
marking the end of an era. It's not just a ship being deactivated, it's the symbol of the Legion itself being put to rest, its spirit extinguished.
It's like watching a funeral pyre, the flames consuming the remnants of a once mighty warrior. And yet, even in death, there are still embers that refuse to die.
Which brings us to the final excerpt, and perhaps the most intriguing figure in this entire collection.
Ready?
Ezekiel Abaddon, the former first captain of the Sons of Horus.
Okay, Abaddon. This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
We find him observing a battle from a distance, almost like a ghost haunting the ruins of his past.
I gotta remember, Abaddon was once Horus's right hand, a fierce and ambitious warrior. But now there's a detachment to him, a coldness in his gaze, a sense that he's moved beyond the anger and rage that consumed him during the heresy.
I love that detail about his armor. It's this patchwork of scavenged pieces.
Oh, yeah.
A visual representation of the fragmented state of the Sons of Horus. He's literally piecing together an identity from the scraps of his past.
And notice how he's abandoned those symbols of his former life. His broken sword, the claw of Horus.
Wow.
He's shedding his old self, embracing a new, unknown path.
He's walking away from the battle towards these mysterious pyramids, and it's like he's leaving behind the wreckage of the Sons of Horus and stepping into an uncertain future.
Right.
You get the feeling that he's not simply giving up. He's searching for something, a new purpose, a way to reshape the galaxy according to his own vision.
And that's the brilliance of Dembski-Bowden's writing.
Yeah.
He leaves us with more questions than answers.
Always.
What is Abaddon seeking? Revenge?
Mm-hmm.
Power? Or something more profound, a way to make sense of the chaos that he helped to unleash.
It's like he's staring into the abyss, and the abyss is staring back, and in that moment, something new is born,
Oh, yeah.
a darkness that will shape the galaxy for millennia to come.
So we've journeyed with these shattered remnants of the Sons of Horus, seen their struggles, their betrayals, their desperate grasps for power. What does it all tell us about the death of a legion? I mean, it's not just about bodies on a battlefield, is it?
No, it's definitely not that simple. What's so compelling about these excerpts is how they portray the death of a legion as this multifaceted thing.
Okay.
It's the physical losses, yes, but it's also the disintegration of their spirit, their unity, their very purpose.
It's like their core is just gone. Yeah, and we see it in Garrix's disillusionment, Kairal's stoic resignation, Dish's warped loyalty. Each character embodies a different aspect of that slow, agonizing decline.
And you've got Sherek turning to the warp for power, and then Jurek holding on to that last shred of honor, even as everything falls apart. It's like the Horus heresy, even though it's long over, it's still poisoning them, warping them from the inside out.
Almost like a phantom limb syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see that.
The Legion is gone, but the pain, the confusion, the sense of loss, it lingers on. They're trying to find their place in a galaxy that no longer has a place for them.
And then there's Abaddon, who seems to be transcending all that. He's not clinging to the past, not giving in to despair. He's actively forging a new path, even if it leads into darkness.
Abaddon is the wild card, the one who refuses to be defined by the Legion's fall.
Definitely.
He's looking beyond the wreckage, searching for something more, something to fill the void left by the death of his old world.
It's like he's saying, okay, the Sons of Horus are gone, but I'm still here. What do I do now?
And that's the question I think Dembski-Bowden is posing to us, the listeners. What happens to these warriors when their war is over? What happens when they outlive their purpose? Do they find peace? Or do they become something else entirely?
And let's be honest, in the Warhammer 40K universe, peace isn't exactly a common outcome.
No, not a...
So what does it mean for someone like Abaddon, with all his skills, all his rage, all his ambition, to walk away from the ruins of his past and step into an uncertain future?
That's the chilling thought that Dembski-Bowden leaves us with. You know, the death of a legion doesn't necessarily mean the end. It could be a transformation, a metamorphosis into something new, something potentially even more dangerous.
So what do you think? Are you terrified or excited about Abaddon's future? Because I'm kind of both. These excerpts from Extinction have given us a glimpse into the heart of a dying legion, but they've also opened up this whole new chapter full of darkness and possibilities.
And that's what makes these deep dives so rewarding, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
We've gone beyond just summarizing a book. We've explored the themes, the characters, the implications. We've connected these fragmented stories to the larger narrative of the Warhammer 40K universe.
We've taken these pieces of shattered history and, in a way, rebuilt them into something new, something we can learn from, something that makes us think about the nature of war, loyalty, and the enduring power of the past.
Until next time, keep those thinking caps on and remember every ending is also a beginning.
Absolutely.